Alright, peace, Krystal. So, it happened that I am going to be doing your reading after all, you feel what I'm saying? Um, so before we get into the reading, I just want to share with you what I've been doing lately. So, lately, I've been learning about esoteric psychology, right? That's what it's titled. And I've been learning about like pain and pleasure and desire and what it is, you feel what I'm saying? And so ultimately our desires, right, they're inspired either through pain or pleasure, you feel what I'm saying? Like you either end up doing something or you don't do it because of one or the other, pain or pleasure. You feel me? And so as of lately I've been learning how to cultivate within myself um, pleasurable energy, if what I'm saying, in the sense that when desire expresses out through you, it can either express through pain or it can express through pleasure. You feel me? And this is actually significant for you to understand and know. Because Scorpio, which is what your moon is the sign of desire. It deals with desire, if what I'm saying. And of course, at its lowest essence, it expresses as sexuality. You feel me? But sex and sexuality is actually the expression of our like desire to preserve ourselves, or no, not preserve ourselves, but preserve the race. You feel what I'm saying? It's race preservation. You feel me? The sexual desire. You feel what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. And it's interesting about Scorpio because it's ruled by Mars, but furthermore, it rules the sex organs, right? And the sex organs are how we go about preserving the race. Now, when it comes to sexual energy, it can express animalistically as lust and like promiscuity. You feel me? But when it's like exalted into higher octaves, then it expresses through creativity. You feel what I'm saying? So creativity, whether that's creating music, you feel me, making a drawing, whatever it is, it's also a form of sexual energy. And so 100% you can cultivate it either way. And it's like, the fifth house, the house associated with Leo, also rules our sex drive. You feel me? And just our sexual activity in general. But it's like that house also rules our creative expressions. You feel me? And how we express ourselves creatively. And so I just felt like sharing that with you. But so, I was sitting here and I was moving away from emotions that dealt with like me feeling like, like my energy is limited. Like today was definitely a long day. I went to the grocery store. I had some very intense conversations with some people. I worked out, I exercised. I kind of received some bad news, and that kind of weighed on me mentally. And so I went outside and I grounded myself. I sat down, I meditated. And I even exercised. That was one of the ways I got myself into a better space. But most valuable of them all was I prepped myself this wonderful meal. You feel me? I went to the store and I brought some like grass-fed, meat, the steak. You feel what I'm saying? Like I'm one of those types of people who doesn't really like to eat meat. You feel me? And when I do eat meat, I'm very specific about the things I eat when it comes to meat. You feel me? And this is because, like, even that grass fed, it was like technically not of the like purest of energy. And let me explain. So animals, they're more complex, and so there's this thing. It's called cell memory. You feel me? Our cells have intelligence, and our cells are conscious, and they're continuously registering information. You feel what I'm saying? And so certain animals, because of the conditions they're subjected to, even their experiences are horrific and terrifying, but that information is retained within the cells. You feel me? Even within us, it's like we go through experiences. Like inside of you, you are God to your cells, we can say. You feel me? In the sense that your cells holistically listen to you. You feel me? And a good example is like people who celebrate birthdays versus people who don't. You feel me? Typically, people who don't celebrate birthdays tend to age backwards, you can even say. Because when you're celebrating your birthday, it's very much ritualistic. Every single element is involved, you feel me? And it's like the chanting, the lights going off, you know, the candle, the cake, the smoke from the cake, the smoke that, you know, like just the smoke that, it's like the candle, it signifies all 4 elements, you feel me? The wax is the liquid or the water, the substance when it's melting, of course. But I don't need to get into that, you know, let's not get into that. Let's not cultivate waste energy. But yeah, you know, so those animals, when they go through experiences, it's like just like those cells, they're registering the information from the birthday ritual, and they're preparing themselves to get older. And we associate old age with degeneration. Like when you think of old age, typically in your mind, your unconscious mind is presented with an image of someone who's deteriorating, you know. So yeah, but it's like it's the same thing with animals, you know. They register that information, and then when you eat it, because that animal's consciousness is complex, it's kind of hard for your astral body, not even your physical body as well, but like your astral body to like assimilate and digest that information. Because it's like when you eat, you most definitely also do feed your soul, you know what I'm saying? And it's like certain food has certain consciousnesses that benefit your soul and your body. Like plants, for example. Plants are supreme when it comes to cell building and cell division, you know, because it's how cells build, through dividing. Like in the mineral, not the mineral, but the plant kingdom, that's what we have mastered, you feel me? As souls, we mastered our ability to like regenerate, you know, and grow cells. So it's like when you eat plants, your soul and even your body can take that energy and regenerate and replenish itself. But no need to go too deep. That's kind of why I kind of stay away from eating meat. But I still do, you know. But all that definitely helped me ground. You know, it's important that we have tools we can go to ground ourselves. But anyways, without further ado, let me close my thought about the desire. You know, so rather than just sitting here and feeling like, yeah, I worked so hard and I deserve to take a day, take some time off, you know. And mentally I was associating doing this with work. And work is painful, right? No one wants to work. And so I started associating doing this with the benefits that can come from it, right? If I do this, then I can do more readings later tomorrow. You feel me? If I do this, then that means I'll be able to do more readings, which means I will be able to receive more money. If I do this, I will also be able to cultivate new energies inside of me that make doing this easy and a breeze. And that's what I want, you feel what I'm saying? I want this to be so easy and effortless for me, you feel me? And so let me tell you, when I switched from expressing through pain and my reason for wanting to relax being pain to my reason for wanting to do this being pleasure, like all of this energy all of a sudden was released to me. I mean, all this energy was released to me. Yeah, without further ado, I don't want to take too much time. It's already 9 minutes explaining that. But anyways, within this, we're going to be looking at your Mercury, your Venus, your Mars, your Jupiter, and your Saturn, but also Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune. So it's all in alignment, the fact that I just got here and I started talking about emotions and feelings, you know, because you have a good amount of water elements in your chart, of great influence when it comes to the emotions and the water, you know what I'm saying? So in of yourself, learning to channel and channel and redirect your emotions, redirect your desire. You feel me? In the long run, it's most definitely gonna assist you and help you. Like, first and foremost, let's get into Mercury, right? So Mercury is in Cancer. You have Mercury in Cancer, and if I'm not mistaken, I think your Mercury is in Cancer in the 4th house, and it is. All right. And so your Mercury is in Cancer, but it's in the decan of Revelation, which is signified by Hydra. So you may know Hydra from Hercules, right? Hydra is the many-headed sea creature, sea monster, really, right? And so anytime, if what I'm saying, we're dealing with sea creatures, the ancients, they use these creatures to signify emotional discord. You feel me? Emotional discord. And so the story concerning Hydra goes as follows. Hell yeah. Like I'm telling you, that's what it's all about. Learning to consciously cultivate the way that you express pain and the way that you express pleasure. You feel me? And associate. Sorry, I just am seeing the changes and the growth within me, so I had to throw it out there. But yeah, so Hydra. You know, and actually it's great that I just brought that up and I'm explaining the pain pleasure aspect of things, because so with Hydra, you know, this energy, Hercules, right, he was tasked, one of his tasks was to slay the Hydra creature, you know what I'm saying, which is really metaphorical to people that have like this deacon of Cancer, in their need to learn to like slay those toxic emotions, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, may typically express as like superiority complexes, you know what I'm saying. And so what I mean by this is, so you see Cancer, it's a sign that deals with emotion. It doesn't deal with logic and ration, you know. And so you have it in Mercury, you don't have it in the Sun, so it's kind of different energy. So with this energy here, first and foremost, when it comes to Cancer, Cancer is a sign, it's a water sign, right? And Mercury is an intellectual planet. It deals with how you process information and how you logicalize it. And so here, what becomes of importance is first that you understand that a lot of your intellectual processes are swayed by emotions, you know what I'm saying. They're swayed by your emotions, and sometimes when it comes to intellectual conversations or decisions, rather than making decisions on logic and intellect, you may sway more toward making your decisions according to what feels good or what feels right, you know. And this may even cause a bias even when it comes to certain information, you know what I'm saying. Like with this energy, it's like there can be a bias in receiving information, and it stems from, like, in a sense, your upbringing and your conditioning as a child, you know what I'm saying, and that energy having a great influence upon your current state of intellectual processes. And now Gemini, which where your sun is at, is definitely an intellectual sign, and so this does indicate that the sun in Gemini does bring and allow you to be intellectual. But like this Mercury Cancer, it just adds also this intuitive ability, this ability to feel information, is what I'm saying. But so with the Hydra, it's like a need to learn to stop those certain thoughts that are painful, you know what I'm saying. Because see, when Mercury is in Cancer, then your thoughts are very intertwined with emotions. They're emotionally charged, you know feel what I'm saying? And this deacon of Hydra, it signifies, so let me tell you what it signifies. So the head signifies this like toxic energy, toxic emotion, you feel me? And this deacon does deal with superiority complexes that actually are inferiority complexes, you feel me? When someone has one or another inferiority complex, they compensate it by boasting, you feel what I'm saying? And so this can even be an indication that like maybe something within your childhood took place that may have negatively influenced your way of thinking, you feel me, your train of thought, towards a space where you just shelter yourself mentally, you feel what I'm saying? And so what happens here is that when you go about trying to bring like mental security and stability to your mind, right? Unless you go to the root of the issue that is possibly creating emotional discord, you feel what I'm saying? Like Mercury and Cancer, it definitely can signify emotional discord because, yeah, you know, it's just not fully being grounded in emotion, but more being swayed by, not fully being grounded in thought, but being swayed by emotion. So it's like the Hydra monster, right? When Hercules would try to cut one head off, you know, another head will pop up in its place. Then you try to cut off another head, and then 4 more heads will pop up, and then, you know, and then 8 more heads. And so this is really just symbolic to the fact that when it comes to emotions, first you have to understand that emotion is energy in motion. And the fact that whichever emotion you're in, if it's fear, guilt, doubt, resentment, revenge, whatever it is, you're actually becoming it, you feel what I'm saying? And you're like a resonance, and you become like a vortex, and you start to draw and attract, and you start to pull in things that are of the same frequency, which is pain. So it's like when you try to resolve an issue head first, an emotional issue that is head first, but not from a place where you're like penetrating to the root cause, but you're looking at the symptoms, we can even say, you know, rather than like going back to your childhood and really understanding how come you feel this way, and maybe how come you're like mentally sheltered, you feel what I'm saying? And going into a space where you allow yourself to just realize how worthy you are, you feel what I'm saying? Because it's like with this Mercury and Cancer energy, because Cancer has very maternal energies, you know, it's a very maternal sign. At times, you can even intellectually be in a space where you allow your thoughts to, rather than stem from logic, stem from a place where it's like emotion, you feel me? And so as a result, you know, this can get you into places where you may be doing certain things that may in the long run not be of best interest to you, but in the short term it's like great because, you feel what I'm saying, it's great because like it's fulfilling that emotion, you feel me? And it's like that's not what Mercury is for. Mercury is for logic and rationality and being able to think strategic, you feel what I'm saying? And so yeah, what must be done here is, well, first and foremost, you know, having some sort of like support system would be of benefit and value here, you feel me? In the sense that when you have some form of support, you feel me, you feel less adequate, you can even say. But it's like the Hydra energy. It's like you don't really even want to like the best thing to do when it comes to dealing with emotions is you don't even want to deal with them by being in them, but you want to cultivate other emotions that are more harmonious, that will take their place. You feel me? And what I mean by this is you cannot get out of depression through depression, but you get out of depression through finding things to be happy about, finding things to be grateful for, going out into the sun. You feel me? Because depression is more dark. So going out to the sun and doing things like that. So yeah, ultimately I would say that concludes that Mercury breakdown. You feel me? And so Mercury is also in the 4th house, so this also indicates that a lot of your way of thinking and your thoughts are orientated towards your family life, your home life. And it's like your family and your home life is very influential when it comes to your thought patterns. And you may be a sort of individual who would rather be in a place of comfortability. You feel me? And because of this, Cancer, it's also very like unconscious sign. You feel me? And so this can indicate that a lot of your thinking may be done unconsciously, and then it may portray as logical intent. You feel me? But it's like sometimes what you think is logic may just be a scheme to keep you safe and sheltered. You feel me? But it's like in life we definitely have to learn to expose ourselves to life, because it's like the more we expose ourselves to life, the more we allow of life to bless us, if that makes sense. You feel me? But yeah, it's ultimately like your Mercury in the 4th house. Now your Venus, so your Venus is also in Cancer, and your Venus is also in the 4th house, if I'm not mistaken. So when Venus goes into Cancer, this produces, it further expands your maternal abilities and your maternal energy. You feel me? Like when Venus is in Cancer, these are individuals who are like, we can even say wifey material, in the sense that they're very maternal and they have a desire to nurture and take care of their significant other. You feel what I'm saying? And hold on, let me see where it is. But yeah, and a lot of their relationship decisions are based upon emotion over logic. You feel me? And this energy, because it's maternal, you feel what I'm saying, and a mothering type of energy where there's a desire to want to take care of. With Venus and Cancer, sometimes these individuals can overlook certain things, and they can take certain burdens upon themselves because they're in a space where it's like they just want to help and they want to nurture and baby something or someone. You feel what I'm saying? So but more so like this deacon right here, you feel me, where you have your Venus, it's a very mood orientated placement, which means that a lot of your social endeavors are inspired by your moodiness or your emotions, your desire to fulfill an emotion, and there are many stories, like the tragic story of old dog Trey, if what I'm saying, or even Jezebel. But yeah, those are the only 2 stories that can come to me. You feel me? And so Jezebel, right? So Jezebel had a desire to overthrow, and this may not be accurate, this story, because it's coming straight out of my head, but she had a desire to overthrow this king, you know what I'm saying? And so one day this king, he was throwing a party, right? And he brought all of the men of high status, you feel what I'm saying? And this was his birthday, and so he wanted to impress them, and the party started to kind of get warm. And then Jezebel's daughter showed up, and she can dance amazingly, wonderfully, right? And so Jezebel's daughter starts to dance, and the men, they are entertained, they're engaged, and they're loving it. And so before this happened, the king proposed to Jezebel's daughter that if she can do a good job in entertaining his guests, he will give her whatever she wants, even if it's half his kingdom. So, he was just in the space of emotion, wanting to fulfill his emotion. And he was thinking from emotion, not logic. And so she dances, and everyone's entertained, and everyone's having fun. They love it. And then at the end, he's like, what do you want? She says that she wanted his head, right? And so the king, because he didn't want to lose like the esteem of these high generals, right? These people of high position. He knew that if he didn't stay true to his word, that he would lose their their respect, you feel what I'm saying? And so he stayed true to his word, and he died, you feel me? He gave her his head, you feel what I'm saying? And so then there was a prophecy for Jezebel, right? And that prophecy was that she was going to be eaten by a group of dogs, you feel what I'm saying? And so those dogs, there's a lot of dogs associated with the stories dealing with cancer and the moon. So those dogs that ended up eating Jezebel actually highlighted and signified Jezebel's energies of revenge and hate. Like those energies of revenge and hate were actually festering within her, and she became that vortex. She was pulling like that energy, you feel me? And it was like what she did onto that king, she ended up receiving. And so she ended up being torn up and eaten by all of these different dogs. And it was really symbolic to the thought complexes that she built that dealt with pain and revenge, attracting to her those unfortunate events, because it's actually what happens. Certain thought complexes that you build through thinking, you draw and attract to you. You know what I'm saying? And if you're a revengeful, hateful person, then you're just going to keep attracting hate and pain and revenge to you. And so what is of importance here is that you learn and you allow yourself to get into a space where it's like, well, for starters, right, with the story of the king, right, because it's like the story of the king highlights this energy here, but also Jezebel also highlights. It's like the story of the king and Jezebel, they're both pretty negative, but it's like, so for starters, you definitely want to be more conscientious and aware of your emotions when it comes to your social life, if what I'm saying. And you don't allow yourself to get into associations for the sake of companionship, for the sake of not wanting to be alone, if what I'm saying. Like, that's first and foremost, if what I'm saying. But second, allow yourself to think harmoniously about your friends that you even have, if what I'm saying. If you have, because Gemini is a very solar dolo energy, and Scorpio is a very solar dolo energy. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you have your ascendant in Aries, which is a very solar dolo energy too. Aries is the solo. It's the soloist of solos, you feel me? And look at that. You have your ascendant in Aries. So you are a warrior, and you have been marching to the beat of your own drum. You feel what I'm saying? That type of energy. But yeah, with the Venus in the 4th house energy, I feel like it's important to allow yourself to appreciate the friendships that you already have, you feel what I'm saying? And think of those friendships in a loving manner, a caring manner, an appreciative manner, you feel me? And what that's gonna do is it's gonna assist in producing more harmony in that department, you feel what I'm saying? But furthermore, attract to you greater acquaintances and friends, you feel me? But honestly, there's a lot to it if I'm to give advice about like thoughts, you feel what I'm saying? Because that's what your birth chart at the end of the day is. It's a mapping of those different thought structures within your astral body. And it's like your moon, for example, is in Scorpio. And so this is an indication that your upbringing, right? We talked about this, was one way or another harsh and hard. So it's like before you can even cultivate and create those new energies with your Venus, that we first got to talk about your moon and all this other stuff. So we'll definitely save that for another time. Like maybe we can do that after, you know, we do this reading for you. But you know, so it's your Venus, you know, it's in the 4th house. Makes you very maternal, very caring individual, you know, inspired to want to associate and relate with others from a place of emotion, you know. Okay. And now let's look at your Mars. So your Mars is also in Pisces. So with your Mars being in Pisces, you know, Mars is a planet that deals with raw, like animalistic energy. It's like raw energy that we have, you feel what I'm saying? And so Mars is a planet that also deals with aggression, you feel what I'm saying? And this is just Mars, right? It deals with aggression, it deals with combative energy, your motivation, your will, you feel me? The things, not the things that you're willing to do, that's more your sun, but how it is that you can control your will, you feel what I'm saying? So first and foremost, Mars is in Pisces, right? Pisces is a very kumbaya type energy. Pisces, like, doesn't want to fight. It wants peace and it wants harmony. It wants love and it wants everyone to get along. You feel what I'm saying? And then you also have like your Pluto in Libra. My bad, your Pluto is in Sagittarius. Wait, no, your Pluto is in Libra. And yeah, your Pluto is in Libra. And so is your Uranus in Libra as well. So both your Pluto and Uranus are in Libra. So with both your Pluto and Uranus being in Libra, this is an indication that, you know, through life, you kind of are in a battlefield. Like, because both Uranus and Pluto, like Uranus deals with erratic change, you feel me? And even originality and uniqueness. Like, you can think about Pluto like this, right? We have the sun, which is the leader, right? And the agreed upon way that things should be ran. So when, let's say you're a part of horses, right? And we have the stallion, right? That's the sun, the stallion, right? And so one day the stallion isn't able to like protect, and the way that the stallion is leading the group to get food, it's not sufficient, right? So if you're one of those people who are like, if you're one of those not people but horses who's like, you know what, nah, fuck this, I'm good, I'm gonna go do my own thing, and you detach from that energy of the stallion, you know, and then what happens is you're tapping into Uranus energy. You're very disruptive, you know, eccentric, you feel me? So that's what Uranus is all about. It's about rebellion, you feel me? And so when it comes to like partnerships and relationships, right? Hold on. There may be this need for you to I wanted to talk about the war aspect of things, and that's more Pluto than Uranus. But you know, with Pluto being in Libra, this is like energy where it's like you don't want to fight, but it's like in life there are situations that arise that kind of get you in a space where it's like, yo, before the peace, before the balancing energies can take place, like there certain feathers have to be ruffled. You feel what I'm saying? Because Pluto is a sign that deals with like corrosion, corrosion meaning things breaking apart, but it also deals with rebirth, transformation, and regeneration. You know what I'm saying? And then so it's like there may be this energy, but Libra is also the marriage sign, you feel me? And so this can even have manifested when it comes to your partnerships, like this rebirth and retransformation that happens when it comes to partnerships. But ultimately, it's an indication of like, it's through the other side of rebirth that you will find your peace and harmony and balance. And we talked about Scorpio, and Scorpio is ruled also by Pluto. And so it's very Scorpion energy, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's just Pluto, you feel me? That energy is like, it doesn't want to fight, but it may attract certain circumstances where it has to push through and fight. But it's like, because Pluto also deals with like groups of people, you know, like corporations and people sticking together and thinking under the same ideology, you know, like some say Pluto is the higher octave of Mars, others think that it's the higher octave of the moon, and I can see how it's both, but I more resonate with it being the higher octave of the moon. Like that kind of makes a little bit more sense to me than Mars. Like it has Mars energy too because it's associated with Scorpio. You know, Scorpio is naturally ruled by Mars. Ruled by Mars first and then Pluto second. But the moon, because see, the moon, it deals with your immediate community, meaning your family, and how you nurture and take care of them. You feel what I'm saying? But then it's like Pluto deals with like gangs, like secret societies, like corporations, like a larger group of people who are fulfilling a common purpose. You know, that's very much Pluto. And so I would say most definitely like when it's like Pluto and Libra and Uranus and Libra as well. First and foremost, with Uranus and Libra, it's an indication that your channel of marriage and your perception on marriage, it's not traditional, you feel me? But you may have views on marriage that are different, you know, and so, or even just views on partnerships and relationships that are different, you feel what I'm saying? And so it's like, you most definitely should embrace your differentiationness and your point of differentiating partnerships and relationships, you feel what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, Uranus and Libra, and then Pluto and Libra as well. And you have like your Neptune and Sagittarius, which just indicates that through allowing yourself to be intuitive and emotionally, because Neptune also deals with emotions. It's a planet that deals with sensitivity, you know what I'm saying? And so and it also deals with illusions, and it deals with like utopian thoughts, you feel me? Utopian thoughts as in thoughts that are like kumbaya and everything is good and everything is okay. And Mars, I mean not Mars, but Pluto, which is where your Mars, not Pluto, Pisces, which is where your Mars is actually ruled by Uranus as well, you feel what I'm saying? And so it's like, when you get into those energies of not even like allowing yourself to get into a space where you're not thinking reality, but you're more thinking fantasy, and you're comprehending how things could be versus how things are, then it's like you channel higher perspectives, because that's what Sagittarius is all about, the higher mind, you feel me? So it's like when you allow yourself to kind of that song We Are the World, you know, or like that song when that dude, he's like playing a piano, not a piano, but a ukulele, and there's like a rainbow, and he's singing about rainbows, and he's like Hawaiian, you know, and he's like, And I think to myself, what a wonderful world, you know? Like when you get into those energies where it's very utopian orientated, then it's like higher perceptions and perspectives are opened up. But furthermore, when you get into that space, because it's in the 8th house, you allow certain energies to surface that are going to contribute to your growth and expansion. You feel what I'm saying? Transformation, because it's what the 8th house is all about: growth, transformation. And it's also like you open up hidden resources. You feel me? Because the 8th house deals with hidden resources that are of the public, you know, open to the public. It's like the more you can get into those utopian thoughts of thinking and feeling like, you know, just because Neptune is a delusional planet, but there's a place in space for Neptune, you know. And so yeah, you know, this is a good segue for me to go back into Mars. So with Mars, it's like a lot of your weapons are not usual. You feel what I'm saying? Because first and foremost, Pisces is very spiritual. And so this can even be an indication that a lot of your battles are spiritual battles over physical battles. You feel what I'm saying? And it's like where you have been conditioned to strengthen is your spiritual abilities and energies, and those are the means and ways which you can protect yourself. And so ultimately, you know, I think another good insight to put here is, see, when it comes to spiritual warfare, it's all about your emotions. You feel what I'm saying? And emotions that deal with peace and calm are the haven for the soul. You know, when you are peaceful and calm, your soul is protected. Like, so it doesn't matter what happens, as long as you can bring yourself back to a place of peace, you are protecting your soul. But it's like when you are in a chaotic space of fear, then you open space for your soul to be like disintegrated and destroyed. So it's kind of like, you can think about it this way: the law of affinity, the law of fucking affinity, which we can even say is the law of attraction. You feel me? Or association even. You know, affinity means things that are likened to each other, which have an attraction. So everything in the spiritual realm, you know, in the physical realm, it takes a little bit longer because we have a buffering of time. But in the in the spiritual realm, everything instantaneously is matched. So when you're in a space where you're thinking negatively, then you surround yourself with those spirits and energies that in of themselves are negative. You feel what I'm saying? Like, honestly, I'm in a space now where I've done all this work, where it's like earlier when I was going through that pain and worry, you know, I felt, yeah, when I was going through like mental like worry and pain, like I felt that pain inside my body, you know, like it hurt. Like, you feel what I'm saying? And it's like, when I was researching some information about like these aliens, you know, like extraterrestrials, it was like the CIA file that was leaked, and I don't really completely trust the CIA. I feel like sometimes they put things out there just to trick us, you feel me? But anyways, regardless, I received some good insight from it. So there's these beings, alien beings, who come from the Pollux, Pollux system, constellation. It's a star, and that's more of a constellation than a star, you feel me? And it's said to have life. And so these beings, right, they're humanoids like us. They look very similar to us, you know. They're more humanoid than others. It's like most aliens are humanoids, but they look just a little bit more different. But they're based upon the human design, you know. And so these individuals, they're humanoid like us. And so they went through a similar path of ascension that we humans went through. And in their path of ascension, at one point, you know, of their ascension, they couldn't allow themselves to slip into those lower emotions, because when they did, it was literally killing them, like physically. Like they would get sick, you feel me, and they would like just, it was all fucking bad, you feel what I'm saying? And it's because the more ascended you are, the more sensitive and aware of your spiritual body you are. But the less ascended you are, the more dense and in your physical body you are. So we have the divine soul here, and then we have the animal soul on the other hand, you feel what I'm saying? And you want to associate as much with your divine soul as possible, because your divine soul is that aspect of you that is an extension of God and that is immortal. But like your animal soul, you know, it more deals with this physical world, and this is temporary. It's not immortal, it's actually immortal, you feel what I'm saying? So definitely get into association with your higher self, you feel me? Many words for it, same thing. And so yeah, you know, yeah, with this Pisces energy also, it like I said earlier, it dictates and indicates that you have a lot of emotional raw energy. And emotion is powerful because you have a thought, and then that thought, it gets charged with emotions. Like a thought by itself is powerless. It's only when that thought is charged by emotion that it becomes a, like, you know, it gets into motion, right? It gets active. But it's like a thought is a frequency and emotion is a vibration. When a thought meets an emotion, it starts to vibrate. You feel what I'm saying? And unfortunately, because a lot of the things we should be taught in school, we weren't taught. A lot of us are in pain and suffering. You feel what I'm saying? And so it's like we're charging thoughts with painful energy, and it's like once a thought is charged with energy, you feel me, it in a sense, and it's like a lot of thoughts belong to thought structures, meaning there's not just one thought by itself, but it's a complex thought, you feel me? And these complex thoughts have their own intelligences, and they have an ability to exercise telekinetic ability, you feel me, onto the physical world, you feel what I'm saying? In the sense that the certain thought structures you have are attracting certain things to you. You feel what I'm saying? Like, for instance, I had to change and rearrange my thought structure dealing with this in order for me to get up and do it. If I didn't consciously be in a state of mind where I was like altering and converting energy, I probably wouldn't be sitting here doing this reading for you. You know, but it's like they and we can go deeper into that. I'd be happy to go deeper into that and teach you esoteric psychology and mental alchemy. As a Gemini, you would tremendously benefit from it, you know. And like I say, you know, I do this for humanity, you feel me? So but you know, energy exchange is important, so prices are always going to be there, but I'm always going to make sure that I keep my prices low so anyone and everyone can afford, you know, because I genuinely believe that this information is important and valuable, because I don't just preach, I practice what I teach, you feel what I'm saying? And it has definitely helped change my life, you feel me? And so I just want to extend that, and I want to help other people as well. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So anyways, yeah, you know, so with the Pisces energy, Mars and Pisces is also a sign, you know, that deals with like healing. And so this can be an indication, like also with your Mars and Scorpio, your Moon in Scorpio, it can be an indication that there's a lot of trauma that may have taken place in the past that dealt with sex, you know, your sexual energy, you feel me? And you may be uncomfortable expressing yourself sexually, you feel what I'm saying? Due to the fact that you need to heal your sexual energy. Also, it's like Pisces being the sign of healing. It also indicates at the same time that your sexual energy is very healing to others. You feel me? And like, yeah, your sexual energy is very healing to others. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. You feel what I'm saying? But ultimately, it's also in the 12th house. Mars in the 12th house. So it's an indication that a lot of your motives are unconscious, because the 12th house is a house that deals with the unconscious mind. But second, also, the 12th house, it also deals with like, what else does the 12th house deal with? It deals with the astral plane, and it deals with the spiritual realm, and it deals with the dream world too. So, like, this can even produce individuals that would rather exist and like alternative fantasies rather than reality. You feel what I'm saying? This can be people who enjoy sleeping a lot, you know, because when you're sleeping, you're in the other realm. You feel what I'm saying? And they may just prefer to operate there than over here. But so what this indicates is that for you, when you do get into learning esoteric psychology and mental alchemy, you know, you will tremendously benefit from it. But furthermore, when you learn how to program your subconscious mind, and I have so many tools, you feel me, that I can send your way to help you do that. When you start to program your subconscious mind, then your motivations can be more to your will, you know, more to your benefit, and you'll flow in a manner where it's like you're doing more things that you want to do rather than doing things that are like a loop, if that makes sense. And having motivations and doing certain things and being like, I am out of the loop, I don't get why I do this, but it's like I always find myself going back to this, because with Mars and Pisces, these individuals are very can be impulsive, you know. It can be not drawn, but influenced by their emotion. You feel me? So you have a lot of water in your chart, and you really need to learn how to work with your emotion, because emotions are powerful. And so for me, I'm a Gemini, and I have my Sun in Gemini, my Moon in Gemini, my Mercury in Gemini, my Jupiter in Gemini, and my Saturn in Gemini. You know, so I have a bunch of Gemini energy. So for me, what's prominent is my thought, and I'm gonna share something. Let me share this with you also. So, wow, I love how I think you're also 28, 29 degrees. Were you born on June 19th like me? Oh no, you were born on June 13th. Okay. So, well, you were born, yeah, June 13th. So, the summer solstice, right, is in June, and the summer solstice, you know, highlights when the sun is at its highest peak. You feel me? And the days are the longest. You feel what I'm saying? And so, light signifies like illumination, you know, spirituality. Like, light signifies something wonderful, something beautiful, you know, for lack of a better term. You feel what I'm saying? And so the fact that the solstice is around like June 22nd, it's June 22nd. So the next solstice is going to be June 22nd of 2024. You feel what I'm saying? And so the fact that it's right there where, because June 22nd is like the last day of Gemini and like the beginning days of Cancer, you feel me? This highlights the significance of thoughts and emotions. You feel what I'm saying? That our thoughts and our emotions are the most spiritual things about us. You feel what I'm saying? Our thoughts and emotions. And it's like our thoughts and emotions are powerful. And when you learn to work with your thoughts and emotions rather than being worked by your thoughts and emotions, then you yourself become a very powerful individual. You feel what I'm saying? And yeah, you know. So I definitely do hope I can help you on that journey of better learning your thoughts and better learning how to direct them and so on and so forth. You feel what I'm saying? All right, and so you have Jupiter in Aquarius in the 11th house. So Jupiter is a benefic planet. You feel me? It's the benefactor of the zodiac, and it deals with the ways in which you can bring good deeds into the world. You feel what I'm saying? And so Saturn and Jupiter have a polarity where it's like Saturn is like, yo, you're gonna work your ass off to get this. There's no other way around it. For you to get these treasures I have to give you, you're gonna have to work, sacrifice, and pain, enslave away. And that's Saturn, right? But then Pluto is like, you've been good. I've seen all the wonderful good deeds you've done. So, boom, take this. You get a job, right? Boom, take that. Money just appears out of nowhere. So it's like Jupiter blesses you for the good wills in which you do, and the good the good deeds, I'm saying will, but the good deeds that you produce and perform out into the world. You feel me? So first and foremost, Aquarius, it's a very humanitarianistic sign. You feel me? It deals with freedom and a desire to want equal rights for everybody. For what I'm saying, that's very much Aquarian. You feel me? And in esoteric astrology, Aquarius is ruled by Jupiter. So esoterically, Jupiter is at home, and so here, Jupiter becomes like a benefactor, and it truly can express its water-bearing ability. Aquarius becomes, Aquarius can truly express its water-bearing ability, because when people talk about Aquarius being the water bearer, a lot of people get this misconstrued and they think that they're saying that Aquarius is a water sign by naturality. The water bearer is that one selfless individual who goes around carrying water to people, and just giving people water. And so you have Jupiter in the decan of inspiration. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, you have Jupiter within the decan of inspiration. Jupiter is in Pegasus, 11th house. Jupiter is in Pegasus. It's in the decan of inspiration. Okay, so Saturn. Alright. So Pegasus, let's talk about Pegasus real quick. You know what I'm saying? Pegasus. Man, oh man. Pegasus. So Pegasus was birthed from the neck of Medusa. You feel me? When they cut Medusa's neck, and hold on, give me a sec. When they cut Medusa's neck, you feel me? And when they cut Medusa's neck, Medusa gave birth to a giant and Pegasus. They came out of her neck. Greek mythology is crazy. But so Pegasus, he found his way to the spring of inspiration. You feel me? And this is where the muses lived. And Pegasus made a home with the muses for a while, and he would drink from the water of inspiration. You feel what I'm saying? And so Pegasus is very associated with the seven muses as well. And so within this decan, this is the decan of inspiration, right? We talked about, we haven't talked about this, but Aquarius deals with originality and uniqueness, just being unique. And so with it being original and with it being unique, Sorry, I'm kind of scattered. Other things are catching my attention. Yeah, you know what? Just to ease my mind, please excuse me. Yeah, so I smell like meat, you feel me, in the air, and I thought one of my roommates took my meat, but it's like I paid 14 bucks for this tiny piece, you feel me, and for me it was worth it because it's organic and it's good, you feel me, but I was like, oh, H to the no. If someone without asking me cooked that, you know. But anyways, I had to ease my mind, you know, because that was kind of getting to me. But so, yeah, you know, the way in which you can go about performing your good deeds is finding ways in which you can inspire your friends, because Aquarius deals with friends, you know, and so it also, Aquarius is the least personal sign, and it does deal with friends, but not like Gemini deals with friends or Libra deals with friends, you know, because Libra deals with relationships. It deals with personal, intimate, you know, relationships. Gemini deals with immediate friendships, so friends you become acquainted with because you guys are neighbors, friends you went to school with, you know, high school, and to an extent even like your coworkers. But like your coworkers are more Virgo than, you know, Aquarius. My bad, more Virgo than Gemini. But you know, both Virgo and Gemini have the fact that they're both ruled by Mercury in common. So yeah, you know, that's what Jupiter. That's what So, but Aquarius, it deals with just friends that may even be associates, friends that you may have just met and swapped informations with, but never really stayed in touch, and like you see them every blue moon or whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? Friends like that. That's so weird. When I went downstairs, no one was cooking, but I keep smelling this meat and it's getting stronger and stronger. What if it's just in my head? I doubt it's in my head. Anyways, yeah, but it's like when you can get into that space, you feel me, where you, through your originality, right? Because this is the Deacon of Inspiration, right? And one of the ways that you can inspire is by being yourself uniquely and just unapologetically. But like the first Deacon of Aquarius is the Deacon of Originality. The second Deacon of Aquarius is the Deacon of Inspiration. And the last Deacon of Aquarius is the Deacon of Repression. So, you know, there are different deacons for this energy. And this is specifically the Deacon of Inspiration. So find ways in which you can be an inspiration for the collective, for the masses, you feel me? And Jupiter, well, not Jupiter, Aquarius also deals with the internet, right? Because it deals with technology. So maybe, like, I don't know if you've ever tried, but with Jupiter being in the 11th house, it's an indication that you may have a tendency of attract. Interesting. Like, damn, you know, because I did earlier talk about, I don't think I ever said that you attract negative people, but there can be a possibility with you attracting people that may be manipulative, you know, but I don't think I don't think that's probably fully the case, especially like with Jupiter being in the 11th house. With the Jupiter being in the 11th house, indication that you also attract really nice people that come through in that Jupiterian energy of wanting to bless you, maybe wanting to help you. You feel what I'm saying? And yeah, just people that are centered and wanting to do good deeds for people with that Jupiter energy. You feel what I'm saying? But ultimately, yeah, I would say that's like Jupiter and Aquarius. The more you can step into your inspiration, the more you can inspire others, the more good dharma you will cultivate for yourself, and the more expansion you will feel as well. So the more you can be an inspiration for others, the more dharma you will draw and attract to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Which is good energy. And what people call luck is actually the result of the Jupiterian energies. Because luck is not, it doesn't really exist, you feel me? Like, some people may look at me and they may think I live a very lucky life, but it's not that I live a lucky life. But for starters, man, let me tell you, when I say I've gone through some things, I've gone through some things. You feel me? But it's like, it's not that I live a lucky life, it's just I have good Jupiterian thoughts, you know what I'm saying? And they're, through their psychic, telekinetic ability, attracting things to me. And I'm always doing good deeds, I'm always cultivating. But like, that's just a part of my astrological energy, so it's alignment, it's nothing I'm forcing. But yeah, so it's Jupiter and Aquarius. And so last but not least, because we've already talked about Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto earlier. Last but not least, Saturn. And your Saturn is in Gemini, within the decan of reason. And it's in, is it in the 3rd house or the 4th house? And it's in the 3rd house, okay. So, Saturn, unlike Jupiter, which expands, Saturn restricts and limits. So this is an indication that when it comes to your intellectual processes and abilities, to an extent you may have doubt and doubt your intellect, you feel me? And you may not feel like you're the smartest of the bunch, because what Saturn does is it produces doubt within the individual, you feel what I'm saying? And like, I was worried, like, you have Saturn conjunct your sun. And I talked about that, I'm pretty sure, when I was talking about your sun, right? And that kind of produces this doubtful energy about your self-esteem and your self-image, you feel what I'm saying? But ultimately, what is doubted is your intellect and your ability to logicalize and internalize things. Like, you may feel that in order for you to learn something and truly grasp it and understand it, you have to operate through time. Like, you may need, you feel what I'm saying? Because that's what Saturn is all about. It deals with time, patience, discipline, and sometimes you may doubt yourself in being able to just pick up on information like that, but you may feel like you need to repetitively, over and over and over, learn it again. Let me say this, with Mercury being in Cancer, the best way of you learning is through listening, you feel me? Like, you may learn better through listening someone speak than reading something, you feel what I'm saying? And like, listen to someone speak, I'll leave it at that. Listen to someone speak over someone just reading something, But also I want to say this, because Mercury, is in Cancer, your thoughts, when they're being processed, they're emotionally channeled, you feel me? They're very emotionally charged. And so the way that expresses is through you being a sort of individual who has a good memory, because the more emotion associated with a thought, the more memorable it is, so that's one cool thing you have going with for you. But then Saturn also can deal with good memory as well, you feel what I'm saying? But with Saturn being here, unfortunately, it can be an indication for you to make sure that you're on top of like your health when it comes to Geminian things. So when it comes to like your nervous system, your brain health, you feel me, your eyes, your lungs, you feel what I'm saying, your hands even, you feel what I'm saying, and just making sure you're doing things like breath work, getting into breath work, and just doing certain things that are good for your brain, good for your nervous system, taking certain supplements that are good for brain, so then it's like Saturn doesn't because that's what Saturn will do. Yeah, that's what Saturn will do. It will bring like malice energy to the Geminian energy. So Gemini, it also deals with like traveling, right? And so this can even be an indication that when it comes to travels and traveling, you may experience like short-term travels, that is, because it's not long-term travel. That's Sagittarius. But it may even be an indication that with your short-term travels, you may encounter a lot of struggles. You feel what I'm saying? And when I say struggles, I mean like just minor setbacks when you're trying to travel. So it's like also being aware of that and thoroughly planning your travel. You feel me? Because Saturn very much deals with good plans as well, and allowing yourself to plan out your travels before you get into traveling. You feel what I'm saying? But ultimately, with Saturn and Gemini, it's an indication that it's your mind that you need to learn to systemize and structure. You feel what I'm saying? And you need to learn to structureize your thoughts and in a way think more through compartmentalizing rather than just randomly thinking. When I say compartmentalizing, like spend time on cultivating your thoughts. Allow yourself to be aware and conscious of your perspectives on life. Like, when it comes to this, I think about it this way and that way and that way. And if it's toxic and negative, then reconstruct it. You feel me? Reconstruction time. And allow yourself to get into a space where, and we'll go deeper into this, hopefully, when you choose to work with me to learn about esoteric psychology and everything like that, because, that's where it's more about, that's where it's more at, because right now I can just talk, but it's like you also have all this emotion. So emotion and thought, you feel me? It's like, because you have more water than air, it's like your thoughts can be drowned by your emotions. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, my friend, that pretty much concludes your reading. And I feel so good and I'm so happy that I chose to do it tonight. I feel like a boss. Rather than just doing the easy thing and being like, yeah, I'll just do it tomorrow. Nope. Anyways, I hope you have a beautiful, blessed day. Peace. And when you're ready, definitely message me and we'll dive deeper into your chart. And we will look at your aspects next. So we'll look at all the different aspects pertaining to Uranus, just all the planets I talked about. You feel me? Next we'll look at the aspects and the way that their energies are being altered and influenced. You feel what I'm saying? So that will give you even a deeper and greater understanding about how, like, for instance, your Jupiter, which is like your good deeds, may be interacting with like your Saturn, right, which is like your ability to structure and work. You feel me? And it would be good if they made it into an aspect. Like, I think that would definitely be valuable. So yeah, it's gonna be valuable for you. So yeah, whenever you're ready, definitely slide through and we'll get that done. But anyways, peace. Have a beautiful, blessed night or day or now, because it's always now, right?